Today, it's 5th day of Hanukkah, 29th day of Kislev on the Jewish calendar. And I want to share the Rabbi's entry to this day of his book of daily thoughts, Hayom Yom. And the Rebbe is quoting his father-in-law. Before we get into it, it's a Yiddish quote, and it references the Hanukkah events. The Hanukkah events, just as some background, was not only the idea of an oppressive anti-Semitic force trying to destroy the Jews and destroy Judaism, which is a narrative that played itself out, unfortunately, many times over the millennia of our history. Part of Hanukkah was a bit of a civil war, because the Hellenists didn't come in saying, we want to kill all Jews. What they said was, we don't like that the divinity, what they kind of refer to as a hocus pocus element of Jewish life. The cultural was fine, the family was fine, the rational was fine. But once we got to the super rational, what we called the godly soul of Judaism, they were trying to destroy that and rid Judaism of that, what they considered a very annoying and irrational, what we call it, super rational element. And they had a lot of Jews who went along with that, saying, okay, as long as I can have my, my Seder with the family like I always do, my Jewish Thanksgiving holiday and meal, that's great to get together. The idea of God and God saving us and the God element, it wasn't that relevant to some people, and therefore there was a split within the Jewish community too. And the previous Rebbe's quote, if I can translate it freely, to make it translate in a way that's more to the American mind, meaning me too. It says that the Jewish choices, the choices of some Jews, which in a way of really distancing themselves, allowing themselves to be distanced from the God element of Judaism, it came about through an excessive self-identifying with the Hellenists, hanging out with them, and not only being friends with everyone is a Jewish value, but changing their own self-image to assimilate, to lose their Jewish identity, so that they could, in their minds, they could be even more friends. They could be one of the gang from the Hellenists, and without the Jewish, what we're calling the super rational God element differentiating them. And they adopted the culture of the Hellenists, and therefore they moved away from observing Shabbos, kosher, Jewish family life, and this really, the result of that was the temple being desecrated. Aside from all the murders and the oppression. When the Jews, through the leadership of the Maccabees, when they showed self-sacrifice to fight against the odds, and fight against some rational explanations and arguments, to be able to find their super-rational love, their connection with God, which it can't be put on my own words, can't be put under a microscope and isn't necessarily a mathematical equation, but it's a faith thing. Once the Jews were able to put aside some self-interest and really devote themselves to their relationship with God, they were witness, and they were the beneficiaries of a divine miracle, divine salvation, the miracle of Hanukkah, which empowered them to their own self-determination and ability to live with pride as Jews with Judaism. Hanukkah is not just about latkes. Hanukkah is about finding our own soul and the soul within Judaism, and the ability to coexist and be friendly and be respectful of a society that doesn't share that value, while being absolutely true to our own soul.